Welcome to this week's edition of the Pioneer Coaches Show presented by GoMart. Go for good times, go for GoMart. With me now, I've head track and field coach Dan Meyers. Coach, thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
All right, Coach, it's another big weekend. You had two school records broke. One was a 37-year record broken by Patrick Riley in the 10K. Jenna Barnett broke the 3,000-meter steeple by about 30 seconds. He had north of 20 PRs. Just your overall thoughts on the weekend.
Yeah, it was a great 2 days. Honestly, most of the meets that we usually go to within the league aren't quite as big as what, they had up at West Lib. And shout out to Coach Falvo and Coach Gwynn that put on a great meet. And I think it's going to grow in years to come, like doing a few of the distance races on Friday night and getting some of the field event athletes out of the way. They had a lot of decathlon, heptathlon athletes in the field as well. So just a really big meet for an in-conference, school to host. And it pretty much fit everything that we needed. So, very happy with how we competed this weekend.
And talk about Riley as well. I mean, he topped a record that stood for nearly 40 years, and he did it in just his second collegiate outdoor meet of his career. What's that say about, not only him, but your team as you guys have been able to break these records for the last couple of years, especially with the underclassmen?
Yeah, that's one of them that's kind of come full circle. The Bubby Dent records that we have on our outdoor board came from when Coach Skiles coached here, and I ran for Coach Skiles, so it's pretty crazy that they lasted this long. But I'm very happy for Pat, and we knew when the distance, the 10K on the track was going to be his event. And one of the things that also kind of came full circle, and it's one of those like kind of pinch me moments is Pat went I think 15:51 in his first 5K, and then came back at the second 5K of 5:54, to hit that 31:45. And last year we didn't have anyone that could break 16 one time. Mm-hmm. And to show the growth of this team and to see what Pat did, and he ran it mostly solo. He was pretty much out of the gates and almost lapped the field, and it was the most ideal conditions. I mean, it was like 60 degrees, a little breeze under the lights. It was just a phenomenal atmosphere for him to go do it, and we're hoping to get him into the Bucknell meet here in a few weeks to try to take some more time off of that. But super proud of him. That was one of the records starting of the year that we had our kind of eyes set on, and there's a few more of them heading into the next few weeks that we're looking at as well. And just really happy about that.
And now this coming week, you go to Charleston for the UC Gold Invite on Friday. It's another chance to see probably most of the conference schools once again. Just what are your expectations? What would you like to see now that the outdoor season is pretty much in full swing?
Yeah, last week we took a huge step, getting people some marks down in the steeple. We won't have as many steeplers this weekend. Jenna, as you mentioned, opened her college career last week with our school record, and she actually broke about 90 seconds, which was huge, and that mark sits her top 4 in the conference. So last week we opened a bunch of people in the steeple. I thought that was a huge part. Also, Addie and Janae with what they did in Hammer was huge. And we're hoping for the same thing in maybe women's disc this weekend, to kind of, and men's disc for that matter. Just some more areas in the throws that I know Coach Johnson wants to try to get some bigger marks here in the next few weeks. That's kind of the goal for this weekend. It looks like it's going to be a warmer day on Friday, and we're going to compete late into the evening. So, I think it's set up to run some good, 5Ks and 1500s. Nick Pitchford will be heading back to the 1500 after his debut in the steeple last week, which was an excellent race. Natalie Barr and Jenna Barnett will have their season opener in the 5K. So there's some few areas that we want to try to hit this weekend, and we're going to try to open up some 4x1s as well. Last week we had some great runs in the women's 4. So there's just a lot of different areas that, we're hoping to keep this thing rolling.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you coming on and good luck this week.
Yep, thank you.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Pioneer Coaches Show presented by GoMart. With me now, I've head Acrobatics and Tumbling coach Taylor Broadwater. Coach, thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
All right, Coach, this past week you won again. You went to Kutztown, won by about 4 points, scored 237.540. You trailed going into halftime, had a really strong second half to pull out the win. What did you think of the win?
Very proud of the girls. That was a great meet for us. I know scores didn't show that, so we just won't really talk about that. But overall, that was a great executed meet for us, and I think that was probably the most solid we've put a meet on the floor as a whole. So the confidence really showed that meet. The execution was there. The girls were having fun. Scores obviously weren't showing what they were putting on the floor. So I think that was kind of a disadvantage for the mindset of where they're at. But I think that kind of fueled the fire for what the girls wanted and just really tried to improve. Second half, we talked about, hey, we can't control the judging, but you can control what you're executing and what you're putting on that floor. And you need to leave no doubt that what we're putting on that floor is better than what they're watching. So that's kind of how we approached the second half. And it really kind of turned a page, still not scoring what we wanted to, but definitely execution was there. And as a coach, I was extremely happy with the girls.
And that leads me to my next point. You had scored over 250 points in your last 3 meets, only put over about 237. What'd you like about your girls still being able to stay composed even with the lower score this time around?
That's something that we've definitely talked about at practice. So I think that kind of helped going into a meet. I always tell them you never know what the judges are going to be like and what they're looking for. So you can be executing exactly what I'm asking and what you did maybe the meet prior and still scoring significantly lower. So that is things that we do talk about. So they kind of looked at me, obviously, for guidance, like, hey, coach, are we really that bad? And I'm like, no, girls, like, you are a very good team. You're very solid. You look great. We can't pay attention to the scores that are being put up this meet, and we need to focus on everything that we've cleaned up this week and continue to execute. So obviously going inversion pyramid and scoring a perfect 10, the girls looked at me and they were like, okay, like we can do this. So that gave them a little bit of confidence back right before half with that score, but just continuing to stress to them that they are a great team was something that was big and vital in that meet.
And then before the meet, we didn't get to talk about it last week because it was announced later in the week. We were nationally ranked 13th in the country. It's the first time being ranked since 2019. How exciting was that for your girls going in and just for your program overall?
Extremely exciting. Obviously, something that we have worked for since I've been back here coaching is we wanted to be back in national rankings. Like that's something that we've stressed every year, trying to set the standard and elevate this program once again. And I feel like this year, last year I was excited. The girls did very well last year, but coming into this season with half a new team, you just really don't know what to expect. So really watching my team bond together and form that competitiveness within each other, but to push each other to the next level, I feel is the reason why we are where we are right now.
And now coming in this week, you got Bluefield State for senior night. They come in 1-4. Their highest score is just a bit under 200. There's only a second-year program. Not taking the big blue lightly. But what do you want to see out of your girls this week as you close out the regular season and you get ready for the MEC tournament?
This week, we're really going to push to see where we can be. Again, we talk about this all the time, but kind of us versus us. I need to see execution in every single event, just so when we're going into MEC play, we can kind of see where we're going to stand up against those top caliber programs. So we're making some changes. So we'll see what happens. I don't know if it'll play to our favor or not, but we have got to find a way to dig deeper in what we're doing. Because we really want to be a fighting team come MECs.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you coming on today, and good luck this week.
Thank you so much.
Get ready to hit the road with GoMart. Each month, we're featuring a special item to fuel your journey and score you bonus reward points in our Road to Rewards promotion. Each purchase earns you a token, so load up and keep cruising toward big rewards. Plus, the top 25 token earners each month will receive 5,000 additional bonus reward points. Check the GoMart app to see this month's featured item, and as always, earn additional savings on products store-wide with reward member exclusives. Go to GoMart.com for more details.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Pioneer Coaches Show presented by GoMart. With me, I've had softball coach Sara Scoone. Coach, thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
All right, Coach, you went 4-2 last week. You started out the week with Concord on Wednesday. Got beat 73 in the first game, but you won 8-0 in 5 innings in the second game. You got down early in that first game, really couldn't muster anything together for a comeback, but you're able to bounce on them early in game 2, really just put it out of reach. Just your thoughts on Wednesday's games.
Yeah, so on Wednesday, they started out hot. They had a lot of hits in the first inning there. It kind of was how the dice fell. They really were like undefendable hits. Is undefendable the way to say that?
Yeah, I think that's a good word to use.
So, some games fall like that, but really we just didn't catch up with our bats. Our bats were cold and hot and cold and hot, and then we'd get runners on second and third and not score them in. So that is more so where I was like, we have to pick it up. So going into the second game there, they came out hot. They had better timely hits. They had better at-bats, better discipline, and they saw the rewards of that. So that was nice to see, ending that losing streak there and going in hot with the weekend of Charleston and State.
And you mentioned Charleston State. You started out with Charleston on Saturday. You also split with them. Lost 4-3 in the first game, but you won 5-4 in 8 innings. It was a really good, exciting 2 games, honestly. You had to come from behind in game 2 twice, once in the 7th, once in the 8th to win. Your thoughts on that split there?
So in game 1, it was a lot of back and forth. Game 2, a lot of back and forth. Sometimes the ball's just not on your side. It'll come back around where a pass ball that'll work out in our favor, or, a home run will work out in our favor type of thing. Just the biggest thing there is when you face a good team, you just can't give any free passes.
Yep.
And after that, we bounced back pretty well. All kudos to, Joe coming in as a freshman, starting and staying in the whole game in extra innings, getting that win. That was her time to shine, and she did it, and I could not be more proud. And then the team bouncing back there in extras. I mean, it was just full team effort, defense, hitting, pitching, all of it. It was just a full team type of day on Saturday, and that's what we preach all the time. So it was really good to see the girls buy into that.
And you replicated that on Sunday as well with West Virginia State. You won 19-3 in game one, really exploded there in those past couple innings. And then you shut them out 6-0 in game two with a no-hitter from Kylie Burdick. You sweep them on the season, and now you move into a tie for first place in the South. What did you think of Sunday's performance?
So Sunday's performance was pretty good with our bats. Our discipline was great. Fun fact from the day, we had, out of both games, there were 4 swings that we had where we didn't touch the ball out of
impressive.
All of those at bats. Yeah.
A lot of foul balls too.
Yeah, a lot of foul. Yeah. So foul balls, hits, all that. But there were 4 swings where we didn't touch a ball. So they're swinging intentionally. They're coming together as a team. And to say that stat and then to look at your stat line and see all the players that had at bats in that in those games, I mean, it's just phenomenal. Again, a full team effort, pitching, defense, everything. They made the plays they needed to make, and they came out and had great timely hitting. So I'm proud of that. But that's what we preach all the time. That's what our expectation is. And will that falter sometimes? Yes. But how bad are you going to bounce? How good are you going to bounce back? How much do you hate that when you do it wrong, you're going to now do it right?
Yep.
So that was good to see from them.
Now moving to this week, you're home once again with West Liberty and Wheeling. West Liberty's probably the biggest surprise of the year so far in the MEC. They only won 11 games last year in the league. They're already up to 10 wins so far this year. So then you'll close out the weekend with Wheeling on Sunday. Just what are your expectations for the weekend now, coming back from that big weekend with State and Charleston? I think a surprise, to use that word, it's kind of here and there, because Sara Pellegrin, the coach over there at West Lib, this is now her second year. So last year was her first year at West Lib. A lot of, up and down with that, like as any head coach coming into her first year somewhere. But they have a great pitching staff. They have good hitting. Their defense is solid. So that would be a good game. I really want to see our kids come out and just stick to our course, regardless of who we play. I want to see us do the little things right. I'm focused on us and how we, go forward, because now we're getting into the nitty-gritty where this is the part of season where teams kind of either they get relaxed or they start learning from their mistakes, getting better as they go. And I want to be the latter. So, but our kids know that and they work hard. And then going into Wheeling too, Wheeling's a good team. I played against their head coach when I was a player, so it's kind of full circle there. I really like seeing that. But also, just a little shout out, the track team will be having their senior day. Good shout out.
We'll be having their senior day on April 6th when we play Wheeling. So if anyone's watching this right now and you want to come out and see track senior day, it'll be before our games against Wheeling at Sue Morris. But yeah, we're excited for a good weekend of ball, hopefully.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you coming on. Good luck this week.
Thank you so much.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Pioneer Coaches Show, presented by GoMart. With me now, head baseball coach Jimmy Mullins. Coach, thanks for being here today.
Thank you.
All right, Coach. This past weekend, you went 3-1 for the overall weekend. Started out with Saturday against West Liberty. You split with them, lost 6-2 in Game 1, picked up your first MEC win in Game 2 with the 4-0 win. You really needed that conference win under your belt. You got it on that second game. Just your thoughts on those first 2 games of the weekend.
Yeah, we knew coming into the weekend that our goal is always to win the weekend, so 3 out of 4, but keep it one game at a time. And but we always know that playing West Lib, it's always fun matchups. They come in, they're chippy, they play hard, they're excited to play, and they play well. They have a good team. And, historically, even back from our first year here, we went down south to play a home game. We went to South Carolina to play a home game against West Lib. Back before we had turf, and before most schools had the turf, we had to travel that far. And, it's just been fun matchups. I could write a whole book on just the stories of us playing West Lib. I really enjoy their players' energy. I really enjoy their head coach. He's a good guy, and it was a fun matchup. It was going to be tough on us, I knew. We got a good start there out of Corn, and, able to have our bullpen come in and do some work there. Unfortunately, we did drop that first one, But our guys are continuing to get better. We really focused throughout the week on a couple things that are showing up with our pitching staff, and the way we're sequencing hitters, it's going to help us. But we dropped that first one, and then the second game there, we got another great start out of Cole Grady and 643 Analytics, which they're getting really good. That 643 system there and that company, they actually are in Division I baseball now. So when they make the regional committee gets together and decides who's ranked in the region, they use a lot of the 643 Analytics now. And they ranked Cole Grady. So there was 2,678 pitchers last week who faced batters in Division II, and analytic-wise, they ranked Cole Grady as the third best last week in the whole nation. And they take into account first pitch strikes, strike percentage for each pitch, put away percentages, and also sequencing. And really, if we can continue getting better on our sequencing, meaning pitching in and out, up and down, change of speeds, and being efficient in the strike zone, we're starting to buy into those things and work on those things in practice a little differently in our bullpens, and it's showing up. But Cole Grady is a guy who is continuing to learn, and the day after he does his arm care stuff, I don't even have to ask him. I know he's doing the daily routines, the mundane things to make himself better on game day, because you just can't sit around all week and think that, okay, I got 5 days rest, I'll be ready on game day. Or as a pitcher, you can't get better that way.
Yep.
And he's not the only one. We've got a lot of guys on our staff, and it may not be showing up for their performances yet. It may not be their time yet to get those type of accolades and win columns and all that stuff. But we got some young guys that are buying into those things as well, that are following Cole Grady and guys like Grant Landis. And, our staff is on the rise. We're going to continue to get better. But credit to him. Also credit to Carlos De Jesus. We've been out swaggered with a fractured hand. Mm-hmm. And not having your catcher, obviously, is going to hurt you. But Carlos he can play every position on the field. And he is incredibly smart. He's a high IQ guy. And he's starting to learn the sequencing stuff a little bit better, too. And so credit to him as well. I mean, it takes a pitcher and a catcher. And he calls the games. He looks at, the plan going into each inning, and he does a really good job. He can remember hitters. He reads swings well. He reads body language well. And he's just been on a phenomenal job as well. But, back to that game 1, too. Great Grant Landis, another great start. A senior for us. He was, had accolades as a reliever last year. Mm-hmm. And, he really can just pitch in any role. And our philosophy is don't think about starters and relievers. You get to baseball, every inning is a 1-inning close, so it doesn't matter. Every inning's important, and he's able to fluctuate around and pitch when we need him to, and he's really efficient in the strike zone. We know his splitter is good. He's been working on his breaking ball, which is really good as well, and he's able to throw in, out, up and down, get ahead of hitters, and he wants the ball and attacks, and he did a great job there as well.
And you mentioned the pitching staff. It showed up again on Sunday. You got a big doubleheader sweep against Wheeling, winning 7-2 and 3-2. The offense also showed up. You had 4 homers on the day. You got the good starts from Corn and Taylor, and the bullpen was also able to lock some things down. Just talk about that Sunday sweep over Wheeling.
Yeah, so we got a good start there out of Corn on Game 3. I think I might have said Corn for Game 1, but Landis Game 1 again. Corn came out to Game 3 there. Had a little situation pregame that he got onto the mound, and but he was able to manage through it and try to keep the pitch count down as low as possible. He's getting more efficient in the strike zone, just some things lining out with him. And a lot of times, like my old coach Cal Bailey used to say, it's not your horse crap mechanics or your horse crap grips or your horse crap swing, it's your horse crap thoughts. Mm-hmm. And really, all these players have ability, and the most important thing is to have their thoughts on the things that matter. So he's learning pitch to pitch, how to think properly, breathe properly, and he's good. There's no question about it. So just getting that confidence back that he can get people out quickly, and he did a lot better job with that. Really good to see him starting to get in line down the mound and get hitters out. Again, our offense is starting to get better as well. Zach Laurie continues to swing the bat well for us, and again with him, incredibly talented kid, incredibly smart, and he's learning to just keep it pitch to pitch and compete. He's playing a great right field. He came in as a Division I transfer catcher, and just has worked his body in shape. He's fast. He gets great reads, and he's played a good right field for us. And I think we've been known in the last decade of being here of putting guys in corner outfielder with no experience out there, and it works out. But he's doing a great job as well. I could just give a ton of accolades to the guys. We got Lance Minson starting to get back. He had that bone bruise on his foot, and he's not 100%, but he's in there, a big bat in our lineup to come back. Adam Bright has been playing really good shortstop. We lost our shortstop there at the break due to personal reasons, and Adam Bright switched over from second base, and he played shortstop in high school. But we're trying to figure out how to get him on the mound too for us, and it's hard to play shortstop for 3 games and then come from the field to pitch, but it is what it is. But he's playing really good shortstop. His swing's starting to come around. We're doing some things good there too, and just really proud of our guys because we didn't back down. We didn't start like we wanted to, but that's just life. And what they're doing is buckling down in practice and really paying attention to the things that we need to get better on and making that important, and it's showing up.
And you mentioned that, it seems like it's coming around at the right time. You got UC this coming weekend. It's the first South Division series of the year, so it's a 4-game series on Saturday and Sunday. Charleston's coming off an 0-4 weekend, but, year in and year out, they're one of the, the premier teams in the Mountain East Conference. You go there Saturday, Sunday, like I mentioned. What's it going to take to go on the road at Charleston to win some games, take the series? What's it going to take?
Yeah, no doubt. Let's go back real quick to also freshman Trent Taylor in Game 4. Mm-hmm. Picked up another win there. Freshman from Warren, Ohio, big, tall righty. And we talked a little bit about him, previously, but he's really starting to get lined out as well, paying attention to the little things. He's a really, really good freshman to have. He's starting to get confidence on the mound that, he can compete at this level. And he's another one that, he can watch hitters and he goes to his strengths, and he's really, really doing a good job for us, and super proud of him as well. But coming up, this weekend, again, our focus is on ourselves and how we can improve ourselves. So it's always us against the ball. But obviously Charleston, with their history, they're going to be good. They play well, especially at home, and it's going to be a good challenge for us. We really got to work hard to try to get some wins there. We come up in the Southern Division play here. And, Charleston State, Concord, all these teams, Wesleyan, D&E, it's really going to be important. So we got to keep it one game at a time. Everything's a playoff game. Try to get our starters to be efficient in the zone, try to battle some at-bats a little bit better, and I think we're going to be all right.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you coming on in. Good luck this week.
Thank you.